Hello, Mr. Nemo here. It's time for another lovely installment of Nemo Academy. We have a math test coming up tomorrow, so I'll do a couple quick problems just to help people feel a little better about what they're doing. First thing we have is an inequality, and when we look at that, people get a little nervous, but there's only one main rule you have to remember, is that whenever you multiply or divide by a negative number, so negative, that's when you flip the symbol. So if it's this way and you multiply or divide by a negative number, and I'll show you in a minute when I say it, when it crosses over, then you need to flip your symbol. Okay? So what we have here is x over a negative 6 is greater than or equal to negative 12. So we always want to, or I always, divide it in half. I have a left and a right. And I always start on the side with the variable. And I look at that, and so that's obviously the left side because of the x. And what I'm looking at here is x divided by 6. It's a fraction, but all fractions are division problems. So what I'm going to do, the opposite of division is multiply. So I'm going to multiply this by a negative 6, which I got from right here. If I multiply this by a negative 6, these cancel out. And so a lot of people just write the line. They make a line right through here, and that. I'm not sure if everybody really understands why we're doing that, so I'm going to elaborate a little bit and say what we're doing is we're multiplying by a negative 6 over 1. And so when we multiply over, remember we can always put a 1 right here. It doesn't change anything. 1 times negative 6 is negative 6. And then when we multiply this over, negative 6 times 1 is negative 6. And we know any number over itself is just equal to 1. That's why this cancels out. So whatever I do to the left side, I multiplied this by a negative 6. I have to do to the right, so I have to multiply this by a negative 6. Now, what I just did is one of these examples right here where I crossed over this line over here with a negative number. I multiplied in this case, or if I divide, that means my symbol has to switch now. So now I have x, because this all cancels out. And then over here I have negative 12 times a negative 6, which gives me a positive 72. Now, we're not done yet because we have to check our work. And so we have to plug it back in. And so what we'll do is, since x is less than or equal to a positive 72, I'll put 72 over negative 6. And I'm just taking my original equation right here, and I'm plugging in what I know. And I'm going to say that that is greater than or equal to a negative 12. And then I just have to perform my function. And I take 72 divided by negative 6. It happens to be a negative 12. And that is definitely greater than, well, in this case, it's equal to itself. So I know I'm good. And that's how you check your work. Next, we have a story problem. Mr. Nemo joined the knitting club. He would like to make something nice for Mrs. Nemo when their next wedding anniversary comes up. The knitting club charges $60 initial fee plus $4 for each visit. So that's the key is when it's $4 per or $4 for each, then you know that is going to be tied to the variable. So if Mr. Nemo spent a total of $260, and anytime it says total, then you know we're going to be equaling that 260, right? At the knitting club this year, how many visits to the club did he make? Well, you know Mr. Nemo, he's always at the club. So let's figure it out. So we have our initial $60. That just, it happens when you join it. So you have to add the $60 in here. Oops, that doesn't look too good. Let me fix that real quick. And again, I got to go kind of fast so you can rewind it and play it again. So I got to add the $60, and it's $4 per each visit. And I'm just going to put V there. So we split it down the middle. We got a left and a right. I want to start on this side, and I always start with either the addition or the subtraction. In this case, it's addition. How do I get rid of plus 60? I minus 60. It gives me 0. Whatever I do to the left, I got to do to the right. And so I got 200 now. So 4V is equal to 200. So now I got to divide by 4. Divide by 4. V is equal to, whoops, it's not dollars, 50, right? So play back. Take another look and study, study, study. Good luck to you all.